Namaste and hi friends, it's Parvati here with Visionary Veda, bringing you your Vedic Astrology report for this full moon lunar eclipse happening on October 28th, 2023. In this report, I'm going to go over the energies at play for this very powerful lunar eclipse, as well as the other planetary influences that are occurring shortly after this eclipse, including the shifting of the moon's nodes. Rahu and Ketu are changing signs. Now, this is very, very powerful and impactful to all of us. After that, on November 4th, we'll have Saturn stationing direct, as well as Venus changing signs, going into Virgo, her sign of debilitation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this full moon lunar eclipse is the last eclipse that's happening in the Aries Libra axis. It is going to be very impactful to all of us. The moon is going to be conjoined a retrograde Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Rahu is still technically in Aries. It is in the Gandanta point, or that very karmic place in the sky when a fire and water sign meet. So it can show many karmic happenings, situations, unfoldments. So we all know that a lot has been happening. Rahu has been sitting in that Gandanta zone for a while now. It's going to continue to be there for a little bit longer. And then when it shifts into Pisces, it'll still be in the Gandanta for a while, but it'll take on a different flavor. And I'll go over that after I talk about the eclipse. Now, this eclipse is opposing Ketu, Sun, Mars, and Mercury, all in the sign of Libra. Sun is in its debilitation sign, and Mercury and Mars are combust. So what does this mean? How does this affect this eclipse? Well, we can be feeling like there's some inequality going on in our relationships or with others. We can be feeling very tired and drained because Sun's debility in Libra. That energy of feeling like we're in control, feeling like we have power, feeling like we have some sort of authority or say in our lives is dampened during this time. With Mars and Mercury being combust, you need to be aware of your own aggressions as well as your communication. We could be feeling that we want to cut off certain relationships that just have not been working or feeding us or making us feel like there's some inequity going on, that we have been giving more than we have been getting back, or in relationships that are just not supporting our growth and our well-being. When the moon is being eclipsed in Aries in the Nakshatra of Ashwini. Ashwini is the nakshatra of power, of healing, of regeneration. We can be feeling like we are not able to find our healing path, or we can be feeling inner aggression towards ourselves for not being in the place that we want to be in our lives. We can also feel confused as to what path to take moving forward, how to take that path, where to go. We're not thinking clearly. So just keep in mind that when the nodes are affecting the luminaries as they do during the eclipse, we are not seeing the bigger picture. We are not seeing the truth. We're just thinking that whatever it is that we are feeling or we are thinking is how things are, and it's not necessarily a clear picture. We can be missing out on many things. We can also be misled at this time, thinking things to be true when it's actually not. So be aware. Don't make any big moves. Wait for the power and the energy of the eclipse to pass. And then in the beginning of November, regroup, go over what you thought what's happening and try and see it in a clearer light. The moon is going to move into Taurus in its sign of exaltation. It's going to conjoin a retrograde Jupiter. Retrograde Jupiter makes us not connect with the purest wisdom. So our wisdom might be a bit backwards. We might get stuck on our values, our ideals, and they may not be serving our highest growth. They may not be giving you the true picture of what is happening. Be open to being wrong as well. But if something is really hurting you and you want to do something to change that, by all means do so. Just wait 3 or 4 days until after this eclipse passes to make any kind of change. It'll be more powerful that way, and it'll be clearer that way. Now, when the moon transits Taurus and it passes Jupiter, the moon is going to move into its exaltation, and then we can start seeing things a bit more clearly as well. Now, during this eclipse, it is very, very powerful to do any kind of meditation, any kind of prayer, any kind of quieting and connecting to the divine, to your higher sources. When an eclipse happens and we do meditations, we do internal practices, internal spiritual practices, this is magnified. It has more of an impact. So I would like to suggest to everybody out there that if peace or if fear, if peace is on your mind or you're fearing things that are happening out there, bring together some friends, bring together some community to do a group meditation at this time, to do prayers for peace at this time, because it will be really impactful. You know, it is true that we are creating our reality in some aspect. It is true. We're not alone. We're not victims. We can all come together, and if enough of us change our internal relationship with ourselves and strengthen our connection with source energy, we can activate positive change in this planet. It is possible. One of the mantras that I've shared before on this channel, and I'd like to share again, that is very powerful to say during this eclipse, is the following mantra. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And what this literally translates to is Asatoma Satgamaya, deliver us from ignorance into truth. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, deliver us from darkness into light. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, deliver us from death into immortality. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. I want to encourage you to recite this simple yet very powerful mantra during this eclipse and beyond, to bring more light, to bring more truth, to bring more peace into our lives and into the world. Now, Rahu and Ketu, if you take the mean nodes of the moon's nodes, if you take the mean node, will be shifting on October 30th into the Pisces Virgo axis. Now, Rahu and Ketu have been in Aries and Libra for the last 18 months, the last year and a half. So it's a closing of an 18-month cycle, but it's bigger than that. It's actually a closing of an 18-year cycle. It's a new beginning. Many, many new things are going to come into your life. New pathways, new relationships, new jobs, new experiences, new ways of showing up in the world, new healing modalities, new ways to explore your spiritual and divinity, your spiritual life. Why is that? Well, Aries being the first sign, Rahu and Ketu moving backwards, and Pisces being the last sign, they move in a retrograde motion. So the beginning for most planets, which is Aries, is the ending for Rahu. And the ending for most planets, which is Pisces, is the beginning for Rahu. So we are completing an 18-year cycle. Look back into your lives. What was up for you in 2005, 2006? And before that, what was happening in 1988, 89 time period? If it was a difficult time for you, don't fear, because other planets are in different positions at this time. This great completion, this great shift is going to have the themes of what you may have been facing around that time. And again, if it was a difficult time, don't worry. The point is, have we learned our lessons? If we learned our lessons back in what was presented in 88, 2005, if we've learned those lessons, then this time period is going to give us the opportunity to take those lessons to the next level. It won't be as difficult as before. If we haven't learned our lessons, then this time period is going to give us the opportunity to revisit that time period and have another chance to heal those lessons. Life is nothing but a series of lessons for our growth, for our good. Sometimes we have to face some difficulties in order to expand our lives. So it's all okay. The good thing about moving out of the Aries Libra axis is any kind of aggression, any kind of situation you've had with others that has been difficult in relationships and friendships, in your business life, in your family life, is now going to move. When Rahu moves into Pisces, you're going to see a shift. You're going to see more people wanting to come together as one. Pisces is the great equalizer. It's the sign of the letting go, the ending, the disillusionment of your ego, and a merging into the ocean of consciousness, the ocean of oneness. So you'll see a lot of people coming together, banding together as one. You'll also see a heightened interest in meditation, spiritual practices, learning different spiritual lineages, and just a coming together of the spirit. On the other hand, you can also see many people falling back into addictive habits and tendencies. Beware of this. Beware of this falling back, because it's a sign of leaving, of letting go, and it can also look like escapism. So be aware of anything that you use to escape. Don't feed into that path. Try instead to use this very powerful spiritual energy to maybe go on retreat, maybe go traveling to other countries to fill you up again with that sense of connectedness to the all. Go on retreat, go traveling, learn how to meditate if you don't already. If you are meditating already, then go to places that they are having group meditations. It's very important at this time to want to connect with others. Now, with Ketu in Virgo, it's important not to let go of your day-to-day routines, your health regimes, your purification, cleansing routines. Make sure to keep this up. because it'll be an energy where you just want to let go of the mundane and just escape this world. There's going to be a lot of that happening in the next 18 months, but we can use it to our advantage. And the other very important thing that's happening after this nodal shift is on the 4th of November, Saturn is going to station direct. It's been retrograding for several months. It's going to station direct, and at the same time, Venus is moving into Virgo, her sign of debilitation. So anything that you put into play after this eclipse, whether it's an intention, whether it's an action, whether it's a new beginning, a new routine, a new line of study, will have lasting effect. When Saturn stations direct, it slows down to a point of almost stopping. Anything done at this time will have stamba, will have staying power. Stamba. I'm so sorry. The eclipse is affecting me. So my apologies for saying it wrong. But staying power. So use this time to your advantage to start something that is going to raise your consciousness and help you to feel whole and complete. Now, Venus moving into a sign of debilitation. Ketu, if you take the mean node, is also moving into Virgo. So it's a time when we are going to feel to cut off from many relationships that are not working. Trust this. If you've been struggling to get out of some relationship that's not good for you, now in these next 18 months is the time to do it. It's the time to liberate yourself. Be aware that you're not just cutting off relationships because you just feel like you're over it. You might be letting go of relationships that are beneficial to you. Even though they're difficult, they're helping you to grow. So try and have some discernment in that area. It's very important. It's going to feel very uncomfortable. Make sure you see if this is really serving you, if it's really time to go. And if you're still holding on to something that's not working for you, expect things to happen that will force you to let go. And just know that any relationship that leaves you in this time is meant to leave you in this time. We're all here for a finite period. Nobody, well, maybe very few people in this world, but nobody lives forever. It's time to really take stock of what we want to create in our lives moving forward that help us generate peace, abundance, happiness, bliss, connectivity to one another. And know that anything that you do to move in that direction is going to be supported by the planetary energies at this time. So I hope that gives you some insight into this next week moving forward with the eclipse, with the changing of the nodes, with Saturn going direct, with Venus moving. There's a lot of letting go here, but there's a lot of healing that can come to us in this time if we use this time wisely and really connect to that which is eternal, which is our spirit and our source, the great divine. So with that, I want to say thank you to everybody for your viewership, for subscribing and liking my channel. It does help others to see this information. And if you would like a reading with me, please reach out to me at my email in the description box. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the life. Love yourselves. Take care of yourselves. We will move through this together. We are one. Thank you.